Sushi Fighter here on Game Line tonight. We're not actually doing a game, per se. Actually, felt like mixing it up a little bit because I just watched Evil Dead, the 2013 reboot of the original movie. Some people call it Evil Dead 4. And I am a fan of the original movies, but I don't want to be biased and just say the movie is good or bad because it really this reboot kind of depends on where you stand, and where you stand is it will determine if you like it or not. Man, where to begin on this movie, man? First of all, the cast and characters totally different. And the movie is actually very different from the originals. It draws influence from the original movies, but it's its own movie. Because the cast and characters are different. Like in the original one, most notably we have Ash and those other characters whom I fail to remember their names. But in the new one, we don't have an Ash heroic like character, and we have totally different new people, and they're all different in their background. Because the new one we have like a high school teacher, his name is Eric, and we got like some nurse chick. We have this drug addict girl trying to go cold turkey. Her name's Mia, and then we have her brother. And then we also have a dog named Grandpa. Yeah, it's cute, right? And in the old ones, we really don't have that, man. And this is kind of where the story plays in, because in the original, the story was these guys, and these guys with their girlfriends go up to this cabin in the woods, and they're going up there to party, drink beers, and hang out, and then we all know that they discover the recording device in the book, and we know what happens from there. Well, in this reboot, without giving too much away, I really don't want to give too much away. We got these characters that go up there for to help this girl named Mia get over her drug addiction by going like cold turkey for a day. So that's the difference, and I really don't want to give too much away because I think if you're a fan, or even if you're not a fan, you should see it, because the new story it's got I think it takes gore and horror to a new level, man. Oh my god, the gore! It's oh my god. I was past when I got past the intro. I was like cringing every moment, holding on to my limbs, because oh my god, I felt those scenes. That's how powerful they were. That's how gross it was, man. It was a gross fest. Yeah, it was bad, man. The story plays little emphasis in the new Evil Dead reboot, because there's not, honestly, not much of a story compared to the old one. In this one, it's really emphasizing the horror, suspense, and gore. Whereas the old one, it's got the horror, suspense, and gore, but it's also got more. It's also got more story than the new one, and that's where some people come into debate and comment like, "Oh, the movie's bad because like the new Evil Dead doesn't have that story or the same characters." But that's not true. It doesn't make it bad. It's different. It doesn't make it bad because if you're looking at the new Evil Dead from like its aspects of horror, gore, and suspense, it does it really well. You can't like compare that to the old films because it's different. It's new, and it masterfully does those elements very well. Very well. And the old one, the old one, it's in itself, it's its own movie. It does it very well too. But this new Evil Dead, it takes it to another level, man. I mean, it's not even supposed to be like a torture movie. Like Saw was a torture movie, and it outdoes Saw by a long shot. It outdoes Saw and any other torture movie I've seen, or any torture movie that's like popular. This one just takes the cake, man. Evil Dead reboot. It was, oh my god, it was so bad in that good way. If you like that kind of stuff, and it will be a good movie for you to watch. Some people were also commenting, like on Rotten Tomatoes and other forums, that like the book, the Necronomicon in the new movie, the Necronomicon is kind of like left in mystery as how we got into the world, whereas the old one, the audio recording was the device, the object used to tell where it came from, what its purpose was. And the new one, there's no trace of that. It's just there, and it looks like the old, the book from the old movies, but it's missing that face. And I was like, oh my god, the book. I think I have to agree with people on this one. The book in the original movie does look better. Just the cover. I'm gonna say just the cover than it does in the new movie, because it had character with that face. That character gave it. That face gave it character for that book, and in the new one, there's just no face. But I think when the book's opened, there's depictions and pictures in there, and there's even writing in the modern English language of like these warning signs. I thought that was actually kind of cool, because that shows that people have touched it before, and it shows people are using it before. In the movie, there's a scene where these people are using it. And it really gives it's actually no, it's written it's like written in plain English, like, don't read this book, like someone wrote it in red pen. And this freaking guy's the scholarly character named Eric, who I thought was going to be the new Ash, but he's not. And he's like going through the book, and he's like, I don't care, I'm still gonna be a dumbass and use it, like flip through it. And that just made me laugh, man. It's like clearly written right there. It's like, don't read this book. He flips the page. Seriously, stop reading this book. And that's great, man. So you can compare those two and make some comments on there that I think are credible to say, like the appearance, because the appearance of the original book was better, just the cover, but the depictions in the new one kind of really give the book more character, and like insight on how other people felt about it, and they wrote comments on that book. You can read it right there, because the camera pans over the book and you actually read what they wrote down. As I was mentioning before, the book is more left in mystery, and there's just no device, there's no audio recording device that's in the new movie. As in the old movie, there was one. And, when they push it, we know what happens. They start reading the words, and we know what happens. And this one, the guy kind of, he reads it himself. He figures out the words, and he reads it himself, this Eric guy. And, I don't think they... Like, again, they weren't emphasizing story, but I was like, oh, why leave out that audio recorder? Because that audio recorder, man, that's creepy. It has a creepy element, and they just like totally left that out, and I think that downplayed that horror element, because if they were upplaying that horror, gore, suspense element, that audio recording would have made it even more so. They would have enhanced like that suspense moment, because hearing like an old message like that being played, there's this creepy element to it. And that's something they should have left in. I will agree with the fans and the people. They should have left that in. They didn't. They were trying to do something else, but I was like, it's one thing you should have left in. The timeline, too. In the original, we know what the timeline is. It's like, I don't think they actually stated it. I don't recall that, but we know what the timeline in the original ones is. Whereas in this new one, it's kind of vague, but you can figure it out, sorta, kinda, because there's a scene in the intro where, these people are doing a ritual with the book, and they look old. Their clothing and stuff like that, and there's also these. They were sacrificing cats, and they like hung them from the ceiling, and then when it goes to the characters, the central characters, time, we see the same cats like hanging, but they're even more decayed. So it kind of tells us that a little bit of time is moved forward. So like there's one character, that scholarly character named Eric. He looks really like 80s, whereas everyone else doesn't look so. They look kind of modern day, day dressed, like the clothing we wear. And yeah, it's just like that Eric guy. He's totally dressed like he's in the 80s, where everyone else looks like they're dressed in the 2000s. It's kind of interesting. But then there's like old objects like in the house, and then not once does anyone ever pull out a cell phone. No one ever pulls out like an iPod and starts jamming. So that's kind of an indicator too that again it's in the past, somewhere between the 80s. And I think what kind of threw me off when I was watching it was the cars, because the cars look modern. Yeah, there's like a Jeep, and then I don't even know the other car, but I know there's a Jeep, and it looked really modern. But maybe they're trying to do like, it was fresh back then in the time, and it looked modern back in its day, as opposed to old age or something, where we see an old car now and we're like, oh yeah, that's back in the day. But this one, I think they're trying to do something with the cars where they made them look new and fresh. But whatever that was, it didn't really work out because it kind of threw off the time frame even more. So yeah, there's that. And let's see, man. People are also commenting on there's no Ash character. Yeah. I'll give that much. There's no Ash, and some people are like, oh, the movie sucks because there's no Ash. Again, that's not credible, because this movie's separate. And besides that, I mean, if you wanted to put an Ash in the new one, it'd be pretty difficult. Think about it. Bruce Campbell, that is his character. That's Ash, man. That's a really unique character that is impossible to pull off by anyone else, I think, because I haven't seen anyone else step up to the plate and try it. It's not like a Marvel or like hero, like I don't know, Spider-Man's not Marvel, is it? I don't know. Like what, Spider-Man was done by the other guy instead, Tobey Maguire. The Hulk was replaced. The Joker was replaced with multiple actors. Batman throughout time, because those characters seem to be like other actors can do it, but I don't think anyone on Earth can do an Ash, man. Ash is just a badass personality in itself that can only be done by Bruce Campbell. So as much as I would have loved to see something like that in this film, it kind of it could fit in, but it would just be kind of hard to do by someone else. So yeah, I mean, it's not, you can't say it's a bad movie because it has Ash, man, because it doesn't have Ash, that's why. And also, if surprise, I think some people commented on this, but watching the new movie, and then if you haven't seen the old movies, make sure you watch the old movies, because what they did was they took events from 1 and 2 and merged them into this movie, this new reboot movie, which was it's good. It's like a throwback for the fans, which is really, it's cool to do for the fans. And they're not sequential events where they go in the sequence as in the first and second Evil Dead, they don't happen exactly the same way. They happen, but in different ways, and they have their own twists. And you watch those movies and you see those scenes, and you're like, oh, that's cool. It's from like the first or second one, and man, oh man, they're done well. And I'm still holding my limbs right now. Ah. Oh man, that fucking movie, man. I don't know if I could watch it. I could probably watch it one more time, but I have to watch it with like a group of chicks, so they like hang on me. I'm like, yeah, that's what I would watch that movie for again. I could not watch it alone. Oh man. Yeah. So like with those things I covered, you can't say it's a bad movie. You just can't say that. And you can compare them to the old movies, but then again, it's kind of hard because it's too different, man. It really is too different. And where you stand, when you're standing your point of view, if you're a fan, if you're not a fan, and if you like those kind of really suspenseful, gory movies, you would like it or not like it. You would hate it or love it, depending on where you stand from. And so let me list it up. If you like that horror, suspense, and gory movie, go see it. Go see it, because it it takes the cake, man. And you'll dig it. You'll dig it. If you like the horror, yeah, go see it. It's pretty damn scary. Man, the demons in there, scary enough for sure. If you're a fan of the Evil Dead, go see it, because it is Evil Dead. It's in that realm. Go see it. And if you want like the traditional Evil Dead story, you might not like it as much, because again, it totally goes off in its own direction. It's not even directed by Sam Raimi. It's by some other guy. His name's like Fede Alvarez, I believe, or something like that. It does have the Sam Raimi influence. Sam Raimi picked this guy to direct the movie, and he does do a good job. And he knows what he wants to do. And they set it a very specific way, again, to be very suspenseful and gory, and they do that job very well. It's just the story's not done well. So if you want a traditional follow the original Evil Dead storyline, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen, and it's not a bad movie because of that. It just goes off in its own direction. It's its own movie, so you might not like it as much if you like the original storyline, because it's not in there. Forget about it. It's not in there. If you like the movie because of Ash, which, obviously, Ash is not in there, but the elements of the chainsaw and shotgun are, and they are used pretty badassly. That's the word, badassly. Yeah, they're used well, that shotgun, and oh man, I just remember there's this nail gun scene that I was like, oh my god, fucking, do nail guns even work like that? Yeah, man, that's freaky. What else, man? What else could you standpoint? Yeah, so I mean, if you're like a super fan and you're like, yeah, so keep it to the traditional sense, you're probably not gonna like it as much for that. But don't say it's a bad movie because of that, because you're comparing it to the old movies. You can't do that, because again, it's its own thing. Really, if you watch it, even if you watch it the first time, if you don't like it, I would actually say give it a second look and just look at what it's trying to do. And because what it's trying to do is trying to be gory and horrific. If you don't like that, then you're gonna hate the fucking movie. Don't watch it. What it's trying to do does it well, and that much I'll give. And it is good. It's good in that sense. If I say it was a good movie, then it's good in that sense, what it's trying to do. Someone who can't get into that, they're gonna say it's a bad movie. But it's not necessarily a bad movie because of that. Again, I really want to emphasize this. because there's a lot of negative comments about it and a lot of good comments. People are like, it's a good movie, it's a bad movie because this or that. But yeah, really, really break it down, look at it, and it's simple to do. So, I hope that helps. If you haven't seen the movie, I hope I did not give too much away. Because, yeah, if you're interested, go see it. Go see it. It's worth like 12 or $9, however much you're going to spend on it. Because you will get a kick out of it. You'll get something out of it, for sure. Yeah. Okay, so that's all I got on that. Glad sum that up. Give a, I guess it's a movie review. Mostly I do games, but yeah, it's something to try for me. And thanks for listening. And Sushi Fighter here on Game Line. Alrighty, I'm out. Have a good night or good day. I don't know what time it is. It's like 1 here, so yeah, good morning.